Well, thank you, Sulaiman. I have with me Bukky Shonibare, who is a strategic team member of the Bring Back Our Girls movement. Welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, yesterday, the Bring Back Our Girls movement was back on the road demanding the release of the Chibok girls. You were stopped again by police. But tell us, what impact would you say that, that movement or that that march made yesterday?
Yesterday for us was a critical day, bearing in mind that it's been 1,000 days since our Chibok girls were abducted. And we deemed it necessary to do something to commemorate that day. Something that does two things. First, appreciates the fact that we're commemorating 1,000 days with some of the girls are being brought back. And also using that as an opportunity for us to say that we still have 195 girls that are still missing and several other abductees that we are hoping that their rescue would be prioritized. Unfortunately, yesterday when we got to the Unity Fountain, we saw several policemen with armored vehicles and all that, which we were wondering if they came to provide security or they came to block us off. We didn't realize what was going on until we started the procession where, there were points where moving out, they followed up with the vehicle and there were a lot of siren. We got to the point where we usually would stop, but before we got to that point, we were stopped again. And then we had to explain that we had written a letter, which is required by law that we should give notice, which we had met up with. And I guess after listening to us, they simply permitted us to the point where we would, somewhere close to where we would usually have our engagement, which we did. Now, the significance of yesterday was to, of course, establish the fact that 1,000 days on, our girls are still missing. We appreciate the fact that some girls have been brought back, and we needed to establish the fact that, yes, while we appreciate, we're still waiting for the other girls to be brought back 1,000 days after.
There was a lull, it would seem, in the activities of BBOG, and I think there was a wide announcement that they were going to start again yesterday. What explains this lull?
I wouldn't say that there was that lull, if you put it that way, because we never stopped meeting on a daily basis at the Unity Fountain. For the Lagos family, they still meet every Saturday. We still would usually do what we typically do. What we have had to do is to, as a strategic team and as a movement, to say that we don't have to be on the street all the times, except for milestone days and for critical moments where we believe that it is expedient for us to have an engagement that requires such kind of engagement channel, which is a protest. We have other means of engagement, meetings, high-level meetings and all of that. But for 1,000 days, we deemed it necessary to be back on the street again. So there was never that time where we went back. It's just that, okay, for a critical day like this, like yesterday, and for the next 7 days, we decided to focus each day on different activities to escalate the issues surrounding our counterinsurgency.
Has there been any engagement from the part of government with your group?
We've not had that engagement. Let me say we've not had that engagement the way it should be, or perhaps there is no engagement. The only communication that filters to us is what everyone gets to know. We don't have that convergence table where we can say that, okay, these are our agitations as a group, this is what we are doing. Can we, as a citizens-driven movement and the government that is leading us, come to a point where we keep escalating the issues that are plaguing us regarding the Chibok girls and several other issues. So we don't have that convergence table, and we're hoping that, on these 1,000 days, there's so much that can be done and that can be achieved should there be that convergence table where we don't have to resort to the streets to become the avenue through which we engage our government. We believe that so much sanity and less messy engagement can be achieved should we have a convergence table, but we've not had that so far.
Okay, now let's talk about the girls who have been released. A lot of people thought you'd be involved in, seeing to the rehabilitation of those girls. What is happening with the girls who have been released?
24 girls have come back so far, and let's not also forget that there are several abductees too that have been brought back. But using the Chibok girls as the entry point to this conversation around their welfare, their well-being, how they should be taken care of. And it brings back the fact that we as a movement have developed our VARS, the Verification, Authentication and Reunification. However, because we have not seen a concrete plan out there that states what the government is doing at different timelines and critical activities that involve several sectors and multi-stakeholders coming together to handle issues around their well-being, their economic empowerment, their education, their health, their post-traumatic stress care and all of that. We've not had that. And for us, we believe that it is expedient for the government to work with relevant stakeholders to extend what we have presented, not just the stopping at reintegration, stopping at reunification. We now need something that is on reintegration, a full holistic plan. And the reintegration should then contain things around their resettlement, their resocialization, you know, and several other things. We don't have that plan. However, if we look at what is happening with the 21 girls that have been brought back, there's so much questioning, there's so much speculation. What is happening to them? Have they started going to school? Are they still undergoing the psychological care? What exactly is happening with them? We don't know, yet we don't have a plan, no matter how simple it can be. We're not saying that divulge sensitive processes that we don't need to know, but something that gives an idea that, okay, these are our own Malalas, this is what has been done so far, this is the next phase of work, this is how long it will take, and this is what we will do thereafter. We don't have anything like that. Whatever filters into the news is what we see. But on this day 1000, we are hoping that moving forward, we should begin to see something concrete that tells us, not just as a movement, but Nigerians and other people that are concerned about this, to say that we should see what is going on regarding their welfare.
Well, we'll continue this conversation with Bukky Shonibare after this break. Do join us again. Well, Bukky Shonibare is still here. She's a strategic team member of the Bring Back Our Girls movement. Oh, Bukky, I'm going to ask you this one on the internal workings of this movement. A lot of people say that the BBOG is losing members because of, you know, the methods that the BBOG is, you know, using to push forward its demands. I think it's too confrontational. Do you agree with them?
I would put it as a question of perception or a question of interpretation of the activities of the movement. Perception within the context that one of the things we did at the beginning of the movement was to develop a strategic plan. That strategic plan contains a part that is called the stakeholders management. The stakeholders management required that we break down all relevant stakeholders. And an extension to that is the communication mechanism with different kinds of stakeholders at different levels and at different times. And that led us into a scenario building to say that, okay, should there be rescue, what would be our reaction? Should there be no rescue, what should be our reaction? Should this thing last for so long, what should be our body language, the emotions that back up what we do and all of that? What I see that has happened is the fact that because it has lingered for so long, there is this need for us to be on the street. The members who do not necessarily agree with, okay, we should be on the street, why don't we have a different mode of engagement and all of that? So there are people who expect different approaches. Those people who expect different approaches may be aggrieved. There are people who believe in the current approach. It doesn't mean we use a one-size-fits-all approach. There are other approaches that we use, and when we use those other approaches, these people that think they can align with that, they come on it. So I wouldn't say we are losing members. I would say that we have aggrieved members who expect things to be done differently because of certain parameters and peculiarities and realities which we have to take cognizance of. The realities around the fact that is 1,000 days on. We are not commemorating 1,000 days without any of the Chibok girls. We're commemorating 1,000 days with 24 of the Chibok girls. And for me, personally, that is success enough for us to be able to say that, okay, there should be a kind of approach in terms of how we should engage at this time, bearing in mind that we have had successes. And several other factors around the military effort, factors around successes on what the military is doing and all others. However, as a movement, we believe that the 1,000 is critical, and in the terms of the criticality, we needed to do something that would again put this back on the front burner, not just around the conversation, but in terms of action. So we have aggrieved members, but I wouldn't say we've lost some members for several reasons. Again, hearing this here, it means this is a feedback for us as a strategic team, and we need to go back on the table and perhaps, of course, go back to these members and try to put on the table some of their concerns.
Importantly, are the parents of the girls still with you?
We have some of the parents of the girls that are still with us, who still engage with the BBOG movement. We don't have all of them, and there are factors that account for that. Not all of them live in Abuja, but the ones that live in Abuja engage with us alongside with the Kebako Area Development Association.
Well, Bukky Shonibare, we have to thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you so much.
She's a strategic team member with the Bring Back Our Girls movement. Well, that will be it here on Sunrise Daily from Abuja. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Ogun. I'm handing you over now to Lagos.
It's bye-bye from us here as well, Maokwe. Many thanks for watching. I'm Slyman Lede.
And I'm Nel Tagbe. Have yourself a good day.